All right, let's pop into the question and answer part of this video. You guys, the technicians, came through with a bunch of great questions. I cannot get to them all, but I picked a few of them that at least I have something to say about. And we're gonna start with this one, which says, how do you feel about the removal of iTunes and placing the device syncing into Finder? So if you hooked up your iPhone in the past or your iPad, you had to go into iTunes and click on it in order to interact with it, grab files out of there and sync things, whatever. I'm actually a super huge fan of having it live in Finder. It makes a lot more sense to me. So here's an example of how I use this. I'll shoot a bunch of really high quality footage using Filmic Pro on the new iPhone 11 Pro. And when I need to pop that over into the computer, I can't just airdrop these giant files, right? So the way to get those out of Filmic is to hook it up to your Mac and then go into your iPhone, now in the Finder window, not iTunes, and select Filmic Pro and grab your footage, copy it over. I like it. I have nothing bad to say about it. It's better. Another question from the same person is, have I noticed a speed increase or decrease if I've installed this on an older Mac? Well, I've only installed it on one Mac. It's my 2016 MacBook Pro. It's a maxed out 2016 model. So, I mean, it's pretty beefy for the specs back in 2016. And I haven't really honestly noticed either way, that being really fast or really slow with Catalina installed. So I guess I don't have any experience installing on something that's older than that, but I can tell you it just hasn't made too much of a difference speed-wise at all for me. Last question from same dude. What do I think about the changes to Photos and iMovie? I haven't messed around with iMovie yet, but I can say Photos, the new changes there, whether it's in Catalina or on your iPhone or iPad, I love this update to Photos. Being able to see stuff really easily by year, day, month, whatever, pinching and zooming, like seeing a bunch or a little at once. Just it's so much easier to find stuff. It was a big adjustment, like learning how to use that. It wasn't hard, like it wasn't hard to learn how, but it was like, whoa, this is way different, because it is, and it's a good change in my opinion. It's just easier to find stuff. Somebody says, how buggy is the software? Which is a fair question, because, and I've done this before, you don't want to update to the latest version of the operating system only to have your most used piece of software all of a sudden not work. And so, to be honest, I've only run into one actual bug so far, and it has to do with my external monitor. So I'm running the LG 49-inch Super Ultra Wide, and the first time that it rebooted with Catalina and popped up, it was like everything was enormous. Windows were huge. The taskbar at the top was enormous. So do I consider Catalina to be the most boring OS update ever? Because this person does. I don't know if that's just pure hyperbole or they're just like disappointed that maybe there wasn't some other big, huge new feature. I'm actually very excited about Catalina. If all it had was sidecar support, I would be super excited. But the addition of Arcade is really cool to me. The little things like Apple Notes being so much better, like like reminders being so much better, Safari being better. There's noticeable stuff. And it's not groundbreaking, mostly not huge groundbreaking new features that you're going to drool over, but it's stuff that you're definitely going to use. And I'm glad that Catalina is here. Especially for Sidecar. I love Sidecar. All right, so there's several questions about which Macs are going to be compatible with Catalina. And luckily for you, I got a list right here of the oldest computers in different sections here. So MacBook Pro, you can go MacBook Pro 13-inch mid-2012. MacBook Air, you're looking at MacBook Air 11-inch from mid-2012. For MacBooks, you're looking at the MacBook from 12-inch from early 2015. iMacs, iMac Pro 2017. iMac regular, non-Pro, is all the way back to the 21.5-inch late 2012. For the Mac Mini, you can go back to the Mac Mini from late 2012. And for the Mac Pro, you can do the Mac Pro from late 2013. Now, Sidecar, unfortunately, is a different story. You need to have an iPad that at least has Apple Pencil support in order to make use of Sidecar. I have no idea why this restriction exists. I assume it's probably for a good reason. Maybe they need something that's a little bit more powerful to handle it smoothly. I don't know. And let me bring up my list here again for the Macs that are going to work with Sidecar. You're going to need a 27-inch iMac that's a late 2015 or newer. You're going to need a MacBook Pro that's a 2016 or newer. So even mine just barely snuck in there. You're going to need a Mac Mini from 2018 or a Mac Pro from 2019, MacBook Air from 2018 or newer, MacBook early 2016 or newer, or iMac Pro from 2017 or newer. So there you go. Hopefully that helps you understand whether or not you're going to be able to use Catalina or get the most out of it with Sidecar. All right, somebody says that their Mac got frozen up when they were installing Catalina, and I've heard of that happening to a few people. Mine worked just fine, but upgrades can be weird sometimes. It's annoying when you're like all excited. Yeah, it's time to upgrade, and then something goes wrong, and you're like, why did I upgrade? But here's one thing that I've heard has been working for people with various issues is just to restart your Mac, and then everything seems to go fine. So I'm not recommending this officially, because if it doesn't work, don't come blaming me, because that's my disclaimer. But if you hold down the power button for however many seconds until it shuts off and then boot it back up, I've heard that that's been working pretty well for some people. And the resource I'm going to recommend for you is Lori Gill from iMovie, because I saw that she had some issues getting all upgraded, and I think she has a whole article about it. I'll try to link it up if I can find it, but do a search for that if you're running into other issues. She's usually pretty awesome she's always awesome about getting you set up with new Mac stuff. Somebody says, is there a way to disable automatically updating your Mac from Mojave or whatever you have to Catalina? And the answer is yeah. Like if you still need 32-bit apps or whatever for school, work, yeah, you go to System Preferences and then check out the update section there, and you can turn off automatic updates. I like to keep it on, but obviously I don't need a specific app that needs to run on older architecture, but it should be an option. So yeah, check out your System Preferences. Last question of the day is somebody says, what games do you play? I assume they're talking about Apple Arcade. A long time ago, before Apple Arcade, I was playing Alien something or other, because it was like the highest quality graphics I could get on a Mac at the time, and it was okay. It's pretty impressive. I couldn't even run it at the full settings on my 2016 maxed out MacBook Pro. But anyways, I'm digressing. With Apple Arcade, the first two things that I downloaded were Stellar Commander and Hot Lava. I haven't tried Stellar Commander yet, but for me, there's something about playing on a laptop where like strategy games are just really good for a laptop, harkening back to like Command and Conquer and Age of Empires and whatever. So I decided to give Stellar Commander a try on the Mac, even though I've seen it on the iPad and other platforms. Like some games just seem to fit on a certain device. So strategy stuff seems to really go good on a Mac, so I'm going to check that out. And Hot Lava, I had tried downloading that on one of my other devices, but I ran out of memory. And so I never got a chance to try it until today, actually. And that was pretty cool. Pretty good graphics and just running around. It's like the kids game, trying to stay off the floor because it's lava. And yeah, it looks pretty good so far. So those are the two that I've tried. And honestly, there aren't that many arcade games yet. The second day into Catalina. So hopefully they're going to add some more as we keep going. And if so, then maybe I'll update that list of what I like the best on the Mac in my arcade video. All right, so that's going to do it for this video. Let me know what other questions you have down in the comments. Maybe I or somebody from the community can get those answered for you. Don't forget, you can check out our podcast. That's linked up down below. And also, at Dailytekk, spelled Dailytekk on Instagram and Twitter. You should check that out. Give us a follow or subscribe over there, because we post a lot of stuff that's like a heads up for content that's coming out. So if you kind of want a preview, or if you just want another place to interact and kind of connect with our community, those are the places to do it. All right, I'll catch you in the next video. Later.